Does the AC need to be on or off?
The AC needs to be off. The AC has to be off. The AC has to be off.
I was like, it feels too good in here.
It does feel good. It feels good as hell. Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's not hot in here. I'm fine.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the torture zone.
Oh man, the furnace. I feel like there's an Impel Down episode or like an arc or something where it was like a hellscape. It was just fire.
super hot.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. That should be the name of the new podcast, at least during summertime when it's freaking hot in here.
Impel Down. Yeah.
It can't be called X3 Drop anymore because you did well. So you didn't drop actually. So you have to change it now.
All right,
You're
I'm
X2,
leaving.
huh?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
X2.
You're
Sorry,
an
guys.
imposter,
Yeah.
dude. You're an imposter.
I'm the actual X3 Drop.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome to X3 Drop. I'm Xell.
And I'm Ducky.
And today we have a special guest and cast. Oh my God, I combined those two words. We have Artress with us.
How's it going?
So Artress, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. You guys might know me from, I don't know, playing at tournaments and scrubbing out very early. This past weekend, I went X3 and I dropped, so hence why I'm on this
X3
podcast.
Let's go. X3 mentioned.
But outside of that, I do some YouTube content. You might see that from time to time.
Yeah, awesome. And so, yeah, today we're going to have a special topic. Obviously, last week we talked about the OP11 cards, but this Friday is the release of the new starter decks, the whole batch of them, 23 to 28.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are getting quite high. So, yeah, today we're going to be ranking all of the starter decks, talking through the new cards that are in the decks, and, yeah, going through and ranking them on based off of, like, what we think is the best one out of all of them. So, I want to get us started, Josh.
Yeah, I'll get us started. I know our esteemed gentleman of a guest here just released a video talking about the starter deck. So he'll be our in-house expert today.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God, the pressure's on.
While I spout my nonsense about these cards that I truly believe in. Starting with red, we got Shanks, the Shanks starter deck. And it's a bit top heavy, this starter deck, right?
Yeah.
We can start off with the 9-10 Shanks, if you can even call it that. This is a 6 cost.
Why don't you read the card for us, for people who are unaware?
For the uninitiated, this is a 9-10 Shanks brick that reads, if your opponent has a character with 8,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand -3 cost. And on play, if your leader has the Red Hair Pirates type, or is Uta, your leader gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase.
Yeah, so this is like that whole new classic cards, I feel like, that they've been releasing for like every leader now, where you're just permanently stronger for the turn. So I don't know. I think this card is actually quite good. I know some people have feelings about it. Like some people are saying, oh, it's underwhelming, but like, dude, when people play an 8 cost, like this is 6. This is a 6 cost, and then you're 7k for the turn. Your leader ability is super good at defending itself, so I don't know. I feel like this card's quite strong.
I'm annoyed.
Why?
I hate when leaders are just 7k, 8k, 9k. Get this BY nonsense out of here. Can we play some honest One Piece? 5k leaders? Can I go 5 lead again ever, please? What is this
Welcome
game?
to 2025, man.
Oh,
Everyone's a
man,
6k,
dude.
7k, 8k leader.
You're going to love OP13 when we have Roger come out,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is the 7k leader, so yeah.
Make One Piece great again, is what I'm saying, man.
I actually think that this card is very interesting in the fact that the Uta text is in there.
Yes.
Obviously, you would think this is for Shanks.
Yeah.
But I feel like this card is more so suited for Red Purple Uta. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that deck, even though it probably won't have a resurgence, this card is more so suited for that than the Shanks leader. I don't really see it fitting.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you there. Like, just being able to be played in the Uta leader already. I feel like there are other cards in this starter deck that we're going to get to that are maybe a little bit more suited to Uta than they are to Shanks. Why is this a Shanks starter deck?
Yeah, well, I think when we talk about these starter decks as a whole, we'll probably make a lot of, generalized opinions about this, because I think, we're kind of like, this is supposed to be the Shanks starter deck. So Shanks is supposed to be the one who benefits from it, but it feels like other decks are benefiting from it. Same thing with the Bonney deck.
Yeah.
It's not good for Bonney.
Yeah,
but
that's not good for Bonney. Why is this a Bonney starter deck, brother? I prefer it to be Bonney, actually, over the other one. But yeah, that's aside,
But that being said, I do think this is still good for Shanks, especially in the meta that we're about to approach into, right? everyone and their mothers and their fathers and their cousins and their brothers are playing ACOS Katakuri.
Yep.
You know, we're seeing a bunch more like top end decks be played right now, right?
6K base leaders, 7K base leaders
Yeah.
with certain cards. Everyone's on PEDs.
Yeah, so
What is this?
yeah, no one's drug testing in the world of One Piece.
Nah,
Absolutely
dude.
not. And so I think this card, even though it has this kind of restriction, you know, I think for the current meta, I think this card has a lot of potential. So will it bring Shanks back?
I hope not.
Was Shanks ever there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
How do you guys feel about the card, just the first half of it, though? Outside of running it in Shanks and Uta, obviously you can cheat this out for cheaper in other red decks. Is that worth running this card?
A 610 beater.
Oh, I see. Because only the on play is leader locked.
The
so
+2 is leader
so
locked.
you can think of this as just a 610 if you're. I think it's so narrow is the problem, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what other decks would want something like this.
So my initial take on this is that we did a previous video on what are the top 10 greatest hits of red of all time, right? Like the Hall of Fame red cards. This is just not good enough.
This is not even close.
Yeah, this is not even close. Like, I'd rather play Otama. You know what I mean? So I just
put respect on Otama first of all.
Otama was number 3 for me or something like that. It was high.
It was like number 2 for me. I
It
think.
is high regardless.
You guys
High
didn't even have
regardless.
Ben Beckman, though.
I didn't have Ben Beckman. He's an
Yeah.
honorable mention
Okay,
for
okay.
me that I didn't mention. So my
Fair,
fault.
yeah.
My fault. OG.
Yeah, that's our bad.
yeah.
So everyone's talking about this card for obviously Shanks and red
Yeah.
purple Uta, but what about the vanilla red Uta?
Ain't nobody playing that. I don't even know what that leader does.
Low key, I didn't know that leader existed.
It's like the promo one. It like came out and you know.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
it. I know it.
The packs like where the film Gordoni first got printed out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Dude,
What that deck do?
What does it do?
I'm cooking on that. Oh, so it gives.
He knows.
Yeah, it's-
That's
trying to
crazy.
catch you off guard.
That's crazy.
you buff a vanilla. You buff one vanilla per turn. It's like plus 2,000 power. If you have no effect on a card, you can give one vanilla plus 2,000 power. I think it's 2,000. It's either 2 or 3.
All right,
3 is beast.
I think it's 2, but it could be 3. I don't know. No one plays it, but obviously, I'm trying to think outside the box.
Yeah.
It's red, green, blue Sanji. And that's a bad look.
Yeah.
Well, moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
We have an Uta blocker, a 2K, 6 cost 4K special Uta that reads, if you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand minus 4 cost. And it's a blocker. So effectively, with a 10K body on board, it becomes a 2/4 blocker. That's also a 2K, so it's kind of a flexible card here. But I don't know that this card will be an auto include in really any deck. Maybe the Uta deck, but not the Shanks.
What's the counter? Is it 2K counter?
It's
It's a 2K counter.
It's not bad.
I think this card's good, actually.
You think so?
I think it just depends. Obviously, this has synergy with the other Shanks that we just talked about.
Yeah.
But I think this has potential because at worst, it's a 2K, which as Shanks, you just run a bajillion of anyways. You're running like 2Ks that you would never play up. This one's very playable. Like you have a big guy, you play with something like, oh, you can't play really.
Yeah, but like I'm down to play out like a Hongo to shrink something, right? Just like this Uta, but this Uta is a film type. It's not even red-haired, so it's also a non-searchable 2K.
Yeah.
I might be more down to play the 4/6 Chopper.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
Sanji
for
body.
sure. That one's really good.
So
But
I don't know that I'll be playing this.
You can play this because I feel like Lime Juice and some of the other 2K, Hongo's good, but Lime Juice is
nasty.
definitely-
The acidity on that boy is crazy.
you put it
You
on
know?
some tacos.
Yeah, you feel me?
No, but okay. So here's a couple things. One is that it doesn't care about base power. So if you're swinging out, let's say you play it on your 8 cost turn, you play a dragon or something,
That's
right? And so you
true.
could on your 10 Dawn turn play dragon, equip itself with the Dawn, swing 11, and then still have a blocker. I don't know. I think
That's true.
I think this card is more flexible because of that, but I'm not saying this card I think is amazing. Like this does not change the game for Shanks or any other deck at all.
Yeah.
But I think having a greater number of like flexible 2Ks in a deck that wants a lot of 2Ks, like I don't know. I think this is good.
I think it's solid. I think it's a good late game piece, but I think if I'm looking to add new 2Ks into the Shanks deck, I think I would look to add, I think it's OP11 Frankie where your opponent activates an event,
Oh,
all
it
of your
buffs your
characters,
guys.
Your whole
plus
guys,
2,000.
yeah.
I feel like that's better utility than this, but this is still pretty solid as an option.
It's decent for sure. Yeah.
I will say though, just as like an SR for a starter deck, it's very unexciting.
Yeah,
like
completely.
Yeah.
yeah, we got a 2-cost 2K blocker. That's so sweet, guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dope. Not even red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, just film. Moving on from Uta, we've got quite the unremarkable cards.
You're putting it nicely.
Yeah.
We got Ben Beckman.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Has he always had that period in his name?
They always have periods on all their names. Look,
I don't know.
If you put them in the top 10 list, you would have known. I'm still salty about that. I'm gonna bring that up for the rest of the red.
Yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault. Benjamin Benjamin. My fault, Benjamin. It's a 4/5 1K counter that reads, on play, you may trash one card from your hand. If your leader has the red-haired pirates type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 base power or less. Trash a card?
Why?
Yuck!
That's awful.
Yuck!
Why would you need to trash a card for that to happen?
Oh my.
Garbage, dude. This card, this card screams like they had a different effect on it, and then they were like, "Oh, it was way too good," and then they had to roll it back. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like not discard a card at first, or maybe it was like KO's a 5-cost or something, or a 5K body. But even then, it's like not even that
for
good.
a card. I'm down. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I think that you just remove the trash a card part and it's fine. It's not
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
It's a solid answer. I feel like this card would be a good answer to blue purple, where they're dropping the 3-cost Zoro Juro.
Sure,
Bond
yeah, yeah,
plays.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then on 4 you play this, and then you get rid of that. But you have to trash a card to do it. That doesn't make me want to play it.
No, absolutely not. Especially for a leader who already struggles to have a big hand size. Like,
you don't draw cards.
Yeah, like, trashing a card is almost a death sentence, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Although Shanks does run a whole lot of bricks, so I guess you could pitch a brick. That's an argument, a counter argument, but I still don't think it's that great.
yeah, this card sucks.
Yeah. That early, though, trashing a brick is scary. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
scary. Yeah.
because especially on your 4-down turn, you only have like 6 cards in hand at that point.
It's so spooky.
And as you know, I've played a bit of Shanks. I've crashed out playing
I'm sorry.
Shanks. We need a.
How long did it take you?
How long did it take for me to have my first Shanks crash out? That's a good question.
I might
think
have a world record run.
You did it. Okay, you for sure had the world record.
1 hour, 17 minutes for me.
Oh my god.
1 hour, 17 minutes was all it took for me to not want to play that deck ever again.
Yeah, the story behind this was because we had a 3v3 tournament coming up, and so we were like, okay, it's Tuesday, we have our locals, so okay, let's test some decks. So Josh was like, okay, yeah, I'll test Shanks. Here's my list. I'll play it today. By the end of round 1, the light was gone behind his eyes.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there.
I was in
Yeah,
a dark place, man. I was not in a good place.
After round 2, he's like, I'm going home.
At least you didn't relapse.
And I won that match.
Oh my god. Good job.
I'm done.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah,
The
I will never.
relapse is
I will
crazy.
never relapse. I will
When
never
people
relapse.
go like, oh man, I just drew all bricks and whatever, I'll see you next week.
yeah, that's crazy. They gotta feel absolutely nothing. Those guys are numb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the mental like that.
Yeah. So this Ben Beckman card, we all agree, trash.
Bad.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Monkey D. Luffy. This guy got 2 periods in his name. I'm just being grammatical. It's a 1/2, 1K counter, activate main. You may rest one of your Dawn cards and this character, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. My initial thoughts on this, mid.
This guy's quite bad, no? Like, I think most effects that are like this are just more efficient. Like, the fact that you had to rest another Dawn, too. Like,
Yeah,
why would I
on
ever
top of
play
this
this
guy.
over Monet?
That's true.
Or
yeah.
the stage.
Good point, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
whatever, like, so you get the same effect. I guess it's searchable in Straw Hat and film, which is relevant in these colors, but it's just too much. It's too much.
Utility's not good.
I don't think it's really worth running. Once again, like these cards are in the Shanks starter deck, and none of these cards really feel like worth putting into Shanks.
Yeah.
Obviously, this being a Straw Hat crew, as you mentioned, could be something to put into like Red Green Law, maybe.
Yeah.
But because sometimes you have like extra Dawn to float around, maybe you could get that. But like you're probably playing Otama instead,
Yeah,
right?
like this is a 1K. It's not even a 2K.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
This kind of weak effect, they put it on a 2K, I'd be like, oh, this card's quite good,
Yeah.
you know, like, and even then it wouldn't be like, oh, this is an auto include or anything like that. So.
Yeah, so I think you're totally right. Just play Otama instead.
Yep.
I think
For
if you're
sure.
tapping this, putting it sideways, your opponent with like a card that goes sideways and does something like this, this, your opponent's going to want to attack into it, but this one, your opponent's not going to respect it. They're just going to be like, yeah, keep doing it.
I don't care about that.
He looks like he's on holiday, and that's where he belongs.
Yeah, I'll swing into it with my searcher. Yeah, like
I wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, just let him play it.
Keep doing that.
Yeah, I respect that. Next up, we've got Yasop, a 1/1 1K counter that reads activate main once per turn. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. Now, this is a little bit better. A little bit.
But
the silence was deafening.
Yeah,
a little bit. This is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Playable.
I mean, we've seen effects like this be playable in other decks. We've seen the Namis.
Yep.
We've seen
Koala.
They don't even play that in the Rev Army deck.
Yeah.
But I there is synergy, right, in that Yasop as a card wants attached Dawn or whatever. But I think that's it. Is there any other red hair card that cares about having a Dawn attached to it? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
This is a weird card that feels like it should be like a glue piece to an archetype.
Yeah.
But we don't care. There's nothing that in this that we truly care about. The only thing I could maybe say about it is that like being in a format where we want to be swinging 6K a lot, so either in Shanks mirrors or against things that are 6K leaders and above.
Are there any 6K leaders in OP11?
Oh, that's a good question.
6K leaders in OP11. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely won't see that in the original.
By the way, you mentioned that Koala is not really played. I do agree that it's generally not played, but I got cooked on Sim one time where I was playing Blue Purple Luffy, and I went against a red yellow Sabo, and they on turn 1 they were going second, dropped Koala, and then on turn 2 for their 4-Dawn turn they went Ivankov, and then they put the 2-Dawn for the Koala onto it and brought out a Karasu and started swinging.
Oh my god,
it was insane.
Wait, that is so sick.
The Koala value is sick
for that.
Yeah.
But this, I don't think it's going to be anywhere in any deck.
Yeah, but to find 2 Koalas like that into Ivankov into Karasu without searching is a devious activity.
That is.
I remember I played into a purple Katakuri on 6 Dawn. I was playing purple Luffy. I ramped to 8. He went 2-drop Kata, 2-drop Kata, 2-drop Kata, evolved into 8-drop Kata, evolved into 8-drop Kata, evolved into 8-drop. He didn't even search for it.
Oh my god, man!
I said, "You got it. You got it, brother. You got that. Yeah, you got that." So that's great. Those hands are insane. Dime a dozen, some would say.
Is that a callback?
I don't know.
Was that when we started recording? Do the people know?
Next up, we've got the green starter deck in Bonney. We got Capone Gang Beji, a 2 1K counter blocker that reads on play if you have 6 or more rested cards, draw 1, trash 1.
So first of all, I want to mention that I apologize. There are no periods between Capone Gang or Beji in this. Why was it only for the red cards? I'm actually very confused now.
That is a question I do not even know.
I don't know.
Why did those cards have periods between the... Okay, anyways.
I'm on episode 3 of the anime. I don't. You guys can't ask me
Yeah, that's
anything.
the will of D on there. Okay, this card is pretty good, I think, actually. Like, just cheap blockers in general are very good. And then the 6 or rested cards thing for draw trash is not hard to get at all. And draw trash is really good in these colors because anyone who's played Bonney for any amount of time knows, like, you sometimes just lose to having just too many bricks in hand. Same thing with Uta, actually. If you play green Uta, like, your hand gets bricked up with all the events that you play, whatever. So having a cheap blocker that comes out and just helps you fix your hand, very good.
What's its subtype?
It is Supernovas and Fire Tank Pirates.
Oh, so it has playability outside of just like Bonney, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
And it just comes out of 8-cost Kid and helps you filter your hand.
Yeah.
It's just very flexible. It's kind of a good card. Though I would say green has quite the premium selection when it comes to 2-cost blockers.
Yes.
Between like Rosinante, they got like Killer. Now they got this beige card. They got some other stuff that I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this card...
I know I'm annoyed by it.
This card definitely directly replaces, like, I know some Bonney lists in the past ran the 3-cost 4K blocker.
Oh, the Bardo.
The Bardo, yeah. And, you almost never filter with that card, but this card just lets you do it. So, I think that's a direct upgrade, and Supernova's type is very good. I don't know.
I think it replaces, if you're running the killer blocker where you put a Dawn underneath it, I think
it's better than that.
It replaces that.
Yeah.
It's situational against Barto, because like in some scenarios, you can not bypass a 4,000 blocker, but in some scenarios, like maybe the meta, depending on the meta,
Yeah.
this would be a better call.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, this dies to Red Robin.
That's true.
We always have to think about that because we play with JCM, and you have to think about how your 1K blockers are just gonna die.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Meta specific.
Yeah, meta specific for sure. Next up, we've got 4-cost, 4K, 2K counter, Basile Hawkins that reads, end of turn, set up to one of your Dawn cards as active.
Yes. I mean, I guess
What is this card?
It's like Rouge, but instead of a blocker, it's a 2K counter.
I think
guess?
it's a searchable 2K, but I think
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna want to run it in too many decks. I don't know.
I feel like you just play Rouge, but you have better 2K selection as Bonney, maybe? I don't know.
The green 2K slots are getting really, really hard to push out, right? Because like you have now, what's the OP10? Tashigi.
Tashigi, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Tashigi is just like
incredible.
an incredible premium 2K. Like, what are the other Bonney 2Ks that people run?
I think there's the one that
Lapu,
rests.
yeah, but even Apu has, I think, a little bit more uses
Yeah, I think
than
so
this
too.
card. Like, I don't know. I mean, I could see this potentially maybe being played, but I think its effect in body is so bad that like this is almost always just a raw 2K, and so I don't know. This card seems pretty mediocre.
It's a common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. We got X. Drake. This one's got the period.
Period, yeah.
This one's got the period in it for
There
sure.
must be a meaning.
Yeah, there has to be. It's a 2K counter. It's a 5/5 that reads, on play if your leader has a Supernovas type, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less, then set up to one of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. So kind of similar to that, but with quite a bit more utility. And it's a 2K, so...
I personally think that this is, I know you haven't gone over all of the green cards quite yet, but I do think that this is probably the best, possibly the best out of the ones that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And maybe out of the ones we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because Bonney is going to be playing a lot of 5-drops. Eventually, you could probably argue to put in the 8-cost Rosinante so that you can bring things out. This can rest something when it comes out on play. If you have a carrot already established, you can swing that carrot and then stun it. So I think this has really great utility in Bonney.
I think the words that are coming out of your mouth annoy the living hell out of me. As a purple player, I'm so disgusted.
Stop resting
me.
me.
I'm so disgusted by that already. 8-cost Rosinante, yuck! I hate it.
Yeah,
What do you
no,
think, Xell?
I think this card's quite flexible.
Yeah.
And this one specifically feels like a Bonney card.
Yes.
Like not many other decks can utilize this one. It's Supernova leader locked, and then it restands that Dawn. Obviously, great for Bonney. So. This card's okay. I think this one's okay.
It's
Maybe
a 2K at worst. It's a 2K at worst.
Anything that like rests stuff like that, like Bonney's always trying to win the war of attrition, and so like this resting bodies actively like that helps you do that. So I think this card's okay.
Yeah.
For green, yellow, law, what kind of resters are there? There's like just Toady Jones, correct?
Hody Jones and the new OP11 event called Gum Gum Elephant Gatling.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That card is correct.
So you can actually put this into life with the ability, correct? And
That's
then
true.
you can
It's a supernova,
You can
so
bring it out and rest something.
Yeah, you could rest something with it, and then if you're also running that event, then the extra Dawn could be helpful there. And I'll have a lot more to say on this next card.
Yeah. Why are all X-Drakes 2Ks? Is this a
is that
canon
lore?
thing? I don't know. The purple one is a 2K.
Actually, there's so many extra 2Ks.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I mean?
there are.
Like, why is that? Like, for the anime watchers, let me know in the comments. I don't know any. I'm on episode
Maybe
3.
he's a double crosser. That's why. Because he's like a Navy agent, actually.
What does that have to do with 2K?
Is that spoilers? I don't know. I was just trying to
Double agent to-
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I see where you're going. I got you.
Okay,
you guys
thank
are
you,
cooking.
Archers.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
you,
you guys are
Archers.
cooking.
All
You guys
right.
are cooking.
I got you.
All right. Next up, we got Kid Killer, a 2/1K counter on play that reads, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Supernovas type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and has a secondary effect. So another one of these multifaceted searcher cards that reads, on your opponent's attack, you may trash this character, set up to one of your Dawn cards as active.
I'm so sick of power creep. What is with these searchers having this secondary effect, man?
Yeah, man. And it's not even a brick. If you're going to do 2 things, at least be a brick, brother.
Welcome to the new age, guys. All right, we're in double-digit OPs now. Okay, we're gone from the 2023 where we're all playing 4/6 vanillas. Okay.
I miss those days.
Make One Piece great again.
I agree.
Run the campaign. Run the campaign.
I think this card, by the way, is so good.
This card is absurdly good.
So good.
But I need to hear what Artris thinks because he thinks that X-Drake might be better than this card.
Well, I think X-Drake is the best version or best card for Bonney.
Oh, I see.
I think that this card is just good in general.
In general, yeah.
I think we were talking beforehand about green yellow law, right? This is the card for green yellow law to put in.
This card is so 100%. Good in that deck. And there are the secondary effect. When I first read it, I was like, this feels a little underwhelming. And then I played a bunch of like mirrors, green yellow law mirrors. This card is so good in it. And the reason for it is that, when you're playing against other green decks, you have to be playing around Hody Jones, like resting your Dawn if you're, holding up events. This doesn't care. And so you can
I don't care about your Hody Jones.
Yeah, I don't care about your Hody Jones. Oh, you played Bonney and you stunned my Dawn, and then you attack after. I can unrest it now, and I still get access to it on my next turn. Like, there's just a lot of functionality to this card that I didn't really see in the beginning. And then on top of that, now the green yellow law deck has access to triple searcher that puts cost bodies on board, which is very important for that deck. So like having a 2-cost searcher means it's just much easier to hit that 5-cost threshold for that leader. So this card is just a match made in heaven for that deck.
And you could probably run. I'm green yellow law pilled here, but Room, the 1-cost event for green yellow law, so you could actually just use all of your Dawn and then pop this thing, and then you have one open for Room once you get to the late game.
Yep.
Pretty solid.
It's very good, yeah. And again, I think both green and yellow have access to great 1-cost events. So you have Trilliocosm, which is basically kind of like your rad beam of green. Yeah,
he got it right.
Billions World Trilliocosm, yeah.
Trilliocosm?
Trilliocosm.
Yep. That is a disease, brother.
It's actually a Buddhist principle about there being like multiple worlds or something.
My fault, guys. I never heard of that before.
Yeah, neither did I.
My bad.
I had to look that up. And then on the yellow side, you have Elthor as well, as well as Room. So you have a lot of flexibility with this card.
I thought you were going to say you have a lot of room. To
I missed the layup. I'm Angel Reese out here.
Yeah, that's tough for you.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, I think this card's great. But is it good in Bonney?
Is this good in Bonney? Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Do you think it replaces the Bonney Searcher?
Nah, probably not. Because the Bonney Searcher just eats up a swing, and I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Bonnies want to get their hit face instead. So this could be better just to play this on 2.
Yeah.
Then your opponent has to hit face. They don't have to swing into the Bonney. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, can be good. Yeah, and it's just flexible, right? Like in the mirror, like you mentioned earlier, it's good into Hody Jones.
Yeah.
Which, like we talked about earlier, for sure, One Piece is not drug tested. My God, Hody Jones. Holy, that guy is crazy.
I have a question about the sequence of things here with this. So if you are tapped out as Bonney and your opponent swings in and you want to then trash this to get the 1, can you rest something because of that on the attack?
Yes, I believe you can because before the counter phase happens, it has already triggered.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah,
and
you
then
can do it in response.
Ability, after that because you get to choose the order. Yep,
I like that.
Next up, we got the big boys, Shaq and Kobe. We got Law and Beppo. It's a 10-11 brick that reads, on play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters, and that character will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Then if your opponent has 2 or more rested characters, your leader gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase.
These peds gotta stop.
I'm annoyed!
This card is it's interesting because on initial read I was like, oh man, this card is amazing, and then I thought about it again and I was like, okay, so 10 cost is a huge cost, right? And
Not
I know that sounds
Kid and Killer.
that sounds dumb, huh?
Not if you have Kid and Killer.
Yeah, well, so Kid and Killer
Yeah.
helps, but to use all of your Dawn, we just talked about how events are really good in green and green, yellow, or whatever. So using up all your Dawn for this, you need a tremendous effect for that to be worth it. Especially in a deck like Bonney, you always want that 1-up. So
Do you think
it's
this isn't
expensive.
tremendous? This is not tremendous enough?
Okay, so compare this to Doflamingo, for example. Being able to stun a leader and 2 other big things in comparison to this is
That's
I mean,
true.
oftentimes I feel like that's more relevant than just the additional 2K for the turn that you would get otherwise.
This is almost there. I
yeah,
feel like it's almost
It's
there.
close. It's close.
You have to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does being searchable like raise it a little bit
Yes.
compared to like
It
Gopi?
does.
You know,
It does. I have a feeling I want to test this card out a lot. Again, I'm also green yellow law pilled, so I have been testing the deck quite a bit. And because of the new events like the Elephant Gatling and stuff like that, like I've been wanting to test this card over the 8-cost kid because these new sort of modal event cards that they've been printing, like the Gum Gum Elephant Gatling, they only counter for your leader, right? So you can't actually use those to protect a cost kid.
Right.
So I think this, in combination with those type of events, could be better off than playing a cost kid itself.
I think that this. I agree. I think that one thing here is that if this had the ability to rest something and then stun something else, I think that'd be fine. Because you have to stun the thing that you rest, right? So I don't quite like that. I do like the +2.
I'm getting shivers. No, stop.
The
Stop
search-
it.
Yeah,
Make it stop.
I know.
Make it stop.
The searchability is great, but who's really eating good here is Carrot.
Carrot.
Ooh,
It is
it's
a
a
minx. Yeah, it is a minx card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really have much top end. Carrot is just stealing stuff from Bonney. They have the 10 drop. Sometimes they run Zoro, but most of the time it's the 10 drop that they're running as top end.
Yeah.
Now they have this 10 drop instead that's searchable and can be something for you to permanently rest 5 costs because nobody's getting rid of this thing.
Yeah. Man, I didn't know Law was a minx.
He's a furry.
Yeah, he's a furry. We knew that
I
all
knew-
along.
I-
Look at his
I
little
knew- I
fuzzy
knew.
hat. He's definitely going to FurryCon this year.
Yeah, so I think that card is pretty good. But speaking of pretty good, we got our blue overlords. Buggy, the starter deck.
Continue. The sunglasses come on.
I'm Ducky from the future, and I'm here to warn you about this tremendous, violent
threat.
war that's about to take place in OP11 once the starter deck comes out. A war that you guys have never seen before.
You look like Mobius from Matrix right now. You're about to ask me, you're taking the red pill or the blue pill?
And the continents have all come back together to Pangea, and everybody is fighting together. And the last one standing, the ones who are reigning supreme, Buggy.
I'm for it, man.
Our overlords
for
are
it.
here, dude. They're here.
Any deck that runs Buggy or is Buggy, I'm for it. I was running Impel Down Ivankov because it had Buggy 1-cost Searcher in it.
Impel Down Ivankov is sick. I love that deck. Card is sick. But starting off, we got another Shaq and Gobi, right? We got Moji and Kabaji. And Moji reads he's a 4K 4-cost 1K blocker 2K counter that reads if you have 2 or more characters with a base cost 5 or more, this character gains blocker and +1 cost. On KO, if your leader is Buggy and you have 3 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card.
Why does it have so much text?
So good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a book. We looking like Yu-Gi-Oh these days.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it also explains what blocker is in the text, so it's even more. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's a starter deck card, so I get it. But this card seems very good. No, it's
Yeah.
a 2K. It can block for you, and then
And
it
it has
has
an
a
on
KO.
Yeah.
And then it
fits
also
the 5.
Yeah, and then it fits
fits
the
the
5
5,
too.
yeah.
So this card's just good.
And then we got Kabaji. If you got 2 or more characters with the base cost 5 or more, this character gains blocker and +1 cost. On opponent's turn, this character gains +5,000 power. So now it is instead of a 4/1 blocker, it's a 5/6 blocker. 2K counter.
This is a common, right?
This
This is a common. Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't nothing common about that.
No. This is really good. Good
These are
stats.
incredible. I think just mandatory must-haves in the Buggy deck.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
In the 2K spot, for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know how buggies were how they were beforehand.
You
and
played
like,
Moji and Kabaji, but the different ones.
yeah.
They're different. They're both 2Ks as well.
So having access to just great 2Ks, these are very playable 2Ks,
Yeah,
right?
very,
so
very
like,
playable.
Any deck that gets support like this, where a 2K is this playable, means that the floor of that
Yeah.
deck is being raised tremendously,
Yeah.
right? So, this is really good.
Absolutely.
Next up, we've got Alvida, a 4/5 1K counter that reads, if you have 2 or more characters with a base cost 5 or more, this character gains +1 cost. So another 4+1. On play, if your leader is Buggy, draw 3, trash 2.
Whew. That's amazing.
Buggy needed this. Yeah, for sure.
Being able to filter your hand out is really good for this deck. Being able to draw a little bit further is great for this deck.
Yeah.
Obviously, being able to have another 5 cost in the field so that
Very
your 10
good.
cost is great.
Yep.
Everything that you've talked about so far is like exactly what Buggy, I feel like, needed.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, this is like very exactly what Buggy needs, right? Because Buggy is a deck that to use its leader ability, you discard cards, right? So hand size is a problem for the deck. This card replaces itself.
Yep.
And then on top of that, Buggy as like a deck needs a lot of cards out, characters out to do their thing. And so like in order to get those combos off, like having a draw 3, discard 2. I mean, anytime they print something like this, I'm like, Graceful Charity is banned.
I love Graceful Charity.
You
love it.
Yep.
So like they just printed that on top of a 4/5 card that has a 1K counter. Like there's nothing bad about this card. This card is insane in that deck.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen on the official One Piece channel for like the card game, they were having like deck battles where they were taking the Buggy deck battle, or they took the Buggy deck and went against Shanks.
Yeah.
And the guy that was operating the Buggy deck, he was playing these Alvidas out, like cheating them out, and his hand size by like turn 5 or turn 4 was just insane based off of the draw 3, trash 2. And he had exactly what he needed at all times. And if you can put this into a deck where you have like the full support with Buggy, this card is like the nuts. It's good.
Yeah, I feel like I did see this video on like my timeline or something. Was it like the commentators that were?
Gavin.
Gavin. Yeah.
And I think the designer of one
Yeah.
of these two,
And the designer got smoked.
he got smoked.
was-
He always gets smoked. Why does he always get smoked? I always root for him.
Damn, Gavin got hands.
Yeah.
Gavin's got hands. So Alvida, incredible card.
Oh, that says a comment. We haven't even hit the SRs yet in this deck. That's
So far,
interesting.
the comments have been
We haven't?
bangers.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Moving on to the SR, a 4/1 1K counter Buggy that reads: activate main. You may trash 1 card from your hand and trash this character. If your leader is Buggy, play up to 1 cross skill type character with a cost 6 or less from your hand.
Okay.
Good
card.
Yeah.
I think this is good. I think out of the 4 cards we've talked about so far, this one seems the probably the most underwhelming.
Sure.
But that being said, this is good, and the other ones are really good.
Yeah.
The only thing you can really cheat out with this, though, is the 6 cost Mihawk, correct?
Yes. The 6 cost
Mihawk. I always mix up the Mihawks and crocodiles because
Yeah.
there's so many of them.
We'll get to a card where they're both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This card is interesting because while the effect isn't flashy,
Sure.
as Buggy would say,
Yeah.
I think this card's really important because one of Buggy's weaknesses as a deck is its even curve, right?
Yeah.
So this basically is just a card that says I get to use my leader ability dawn earlier on my
4,
even curve.
yep.
So while it's not particularly exciting, I think this card fits a very important purpose for that deck. Yeah.
Agree. Is this 6 or less, or just 6?
6 or less.
6 or less,
Okay, so
yeah.
it
So
doesn't have to be Mihawk.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be Mihawk.
But
That's
Mihawk's probably the best.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the best one.
I also think that something that's funny about this card to me is like this is just an additional middle finger to Blackbeard because it's an activate main.
I love
Like,
that, dude.
it's
I
like-
love that so much.
Thematically, it feels like they're setting up this thing where like Buggy has to beat Blackbeard,
Yeah.
and this card just like on top of everything else, like this deck will beat Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Understood, Captain.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, we need that so bad. Yeah. Blackbeard, you better not use your leader ability or my 10-12 is coming out. Yeah.
And if you don't, then I got 4 guys coming out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Take your pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think this is just adds a bit more flexibility to Buggy's even curve, which I think is quite important, especially if you want to be able to go off on
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
So good card. Next up, we got an amazing card.
This
8/7
card.
Crocodile Mihawk. This is actually Shaq and Kobe. This is crazy. This card is crazy.
This is Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Oh my God. This is Wayne Gretzky and Wayne Gretzky. So this card reads, on play, draw 2, trash 1 from your hand, then play up to 1 cross guild type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So it's an 8/7, draw 2, trash 1, spit out a 4. once per turn, if
There's
you're
more?
Yeah, there's more. But there's more.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Once per turn, if your cross skill type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash one from your hand instead.
Oh my god.
It makes everything sticky.
That's insane.
Oh man.
This card is so insane. What the hell?
How does Lucci get past this?
You
don't.
You
You
don't.
don't.
You don't. You straight up don't.
Yeah.
You straight up don't.
Wait,
This-
it's just any removal, right?
Yeah.
It's just like once per turn you can just
Remove from
remove
the
like
field.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, anything.
Bottom decking, like
Yep.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, trashing, tucking into your life, all of it is just prevented by Crocodile and Mihawk.
This is insane.
This card is so absurd. Even if you stopped without the protection effect, this card is already quite good,
Yeah,
right?
already quite
it
good.
replaces itself. It helps you go wide on your board, exactly what Buggy wants.
Mm-hmm.
And then now everything is just stuck on the field. Because that was the other kind of weakness for Buggy was that you before this card you didn't have protection for your abilities, and again, like we talked about earlier, like Buggy as a deck, you need multiple characters out on the field for all the things to happen. You know,
Yeah.
like Buggy is the ultimate sort of greater than the sum of its parts type
Sure,
of thing.
yeah.
So
Thematic.
now, yeah, very thematic. Buggy needs his henchmen to do his bidding,
Yeah.
right, and for him to do his thing. So like. This card just makes it so now it's impossible for you to not get to your endgame state.
A good Buggy player would typically just never attack with their board because
Yeah.
they would want to wait to get a
Exactly.
full board.
Yep.
And the way that Buggy would lose that is if you could remove those
it,
pieces.
yep.
But then with this, you can't even do that.
Can't even do it.
This is a really amazing card for Buggy. This is exactly what Buggy needed. This is great.
Yeah, this card is amazing because you can play this on 5 with Buggy's leader ability, draw 2, trash 1, right? And then it spits out a 4, which it can
The
be
Buggy.
Or Alvida.
Yeah,
Alvida?
it can be Alvida or Moji or Kabaji. Those are
Take
all
your
4
pick.
costs that become 5 costs. Like, this card is incredible, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, I think the optimal play for me would be like you play this, you bring out that Buggy SR. That Buggy SR brings out the 6-cost Mihawk, and then you just draw on 4 cards and trash 2, right? Like this draws 2, trash 1. The Mihawk draws 2. Like, it's insane.
Morpheus is back.
Yeah, you tried to warn us. You were right.
Buggy Wars are coming. The Buggy Wars are coming. They're coming. They're coming in hot. Next up, we've got Purple Black Luffy. So, this is a purple black deck
There's a black card in there.
that has one black. It is the 5/7 Broke Vanilla, and the reason why I kind of want to bring up this black card is because specifically the 5/7 Vanilla is black. If it was purple, it would be played in Purple Luffy.
Really?
There's no 5/7 Straw Hat Vanilla in Purple
Huh.
Luffy. They're printing out a promo Robin that's coming out God knows when. But yeah, they're like, oh, we're going to print out a 5/7 Vanilla Straw Hat. Let's make it black. Oh my God. Just make it purple. The rest of the deck is purple,
They
man.
did this to spite you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so General Frankie.
Moving on.
Moving General Frankie. This is an 8/10 brick that reads on play Dawn -2. Give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. Thoughts, Artress?
I think this is fine, but there's just really no room to run this in Black Purple Luffy, I think.
Especially a character that tall.
Right.
Yeah.
On your 8 Dawn turn as Black Purple Luffy, you're typically going to want to play one of your 6 drops, whether it's the Rush Restand from EBO2
Right.
or the new one that we'll get to in a bit. But I think that this is serviceable, but I just don't see it being ran because it's a brick. If you draw it past your 8 Dawn turn, is it really something you want to play?
Yeah.
Probably not.
It reminds me a bit of the 6-cost Brook. I can't remember
Yeah,
where
the
it's
6/7.
from.
Oh,
The
yeah.
The OP09,
shrinks-
yeah.
shrinks 2 things.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of that, but it's big. This boy is big.
This guy
It
is big. I think from a constructed level standpoint, the power level is just quite low.
Yeah, I think I'm with
even
you
the
there.
6/7 is much better because like it triggers while it's attacking, so it's like you're pushing an attack through while shrinking. I think that's actually better than this
Yeah.
card because like you shrink something, but now you've used 8 Dawn, so like it's harder for you to swing into the things that you shrunk. So I mean, I'm sure if you were to play like a starter deck battle, that card would come in clutch.
Sure.
Yeah.
But from a constructed standpoint, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like if you're playing Black Purple Luffy and you're wanting to probably go first, you go like Zoro, Juro, or I guess it's just Zoro on 3. You ramp up, you go to what, 6 the next turn?
Yeah.
You go to 6, and then the following turn you go to 8, right? Because you go 3, 5, 7 normally, but
Yeah.
then with the ramp you go 3, 6, 8. So in your 8, you'd be responding to what is it, a 4 drop maybe or 5? I don't
What
know
is
what
it?
it
3?
but
You said 368?
3, 6, 8.
479.
Okay.
479.
Poopy players, man. They only got
479.
Okay, we get it.
they only know one area code. That's it. We need to know what that is in the United States. What
Yeah,
is the area
where-
code 479?
It's like the most degenerate place of all time.
Alabama.
Yeah. It's a lawless
District
land.
11 in New
Lawless,
Mexico.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think this is really going to be run much. It's not a bad card, but probably
yeah.
something better to be
Yeah,
run.
for sure. Speaking of something better, we got Soba Mask, a 7/9 that reads, if you have a Sangoro or Sanji character with 7,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand -5 cost. The 2/9 on play, return all of your Sangoro and Sanji characters to the owner's hand. I don't know who this guy is, but that's hella good. I don't know who that is.
I like the fact that it's very thematic to his like because all the Germa Rangers are supposed to be like Power Rangers, right? So like you imagine this as like Sanji flies out and then boom,
Yeah.
in comes Soba Mask,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's kind of thematic, but this card -5 cost,
-5.
At its best, it can be a 2 cost 9,000 power. Like that's crazy.
We thought the Shanks was not bad.
Yeah, dude. This guy's got Ice Age built into its effect.
Yeah.
Holy.
So good. So obviously the question is like, what Sanjis and Sangoros have that 7K base power?
6/8 vanilla Sangoro from OP05 1K counter attached.
How do you know that?
I'm sorry I asked.
OP05 was my set, baby. I love OP05. The only reason I know this is because I asked that exact same question. I was like, why does it read Sangoro with 7,000 base power? The only Sangoro I know has 6K base.
Yeah.
What other Sangoro cards are there? Oh, it's a 6/8 beater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that this was not base power. It's still a really
Yeah.
solid card. I wish it was just like a Sanji of 7,000 power.
Right.
So you can like use if you're like going red purple, you could use the 2K counter that like becomes a 7K base, or not 7K base, but 7K power. Right?
Yeah.
You could like return that to hand. You can't do that. The other question is, with this, does the Sanji and Pudding from EBO2 count as one of the Sanjis?
That's a good question because
I
these
hope not.
yeah, because the way it's written, it has the hard brackets, which I believe I always screw this up, but I think it means that it's inclusive. So
Okay.
we definitely need judges or somebody who knows better to talk us through that one because I think like brand new has the squiggly ones, and that one can't find 10 cost Kuzan. So I think it's that.
Okay.
I thought they were all the same.
No. All brackets look the same to you? That's crazy. It's Pride Month.
I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy, I swear.
One of the really cool combos that people have been talking about for this card has been if you're playing Black Purple Luffy or just like any variation where it's running the 7 cost 7K Rush Sanji. If you're on 9 Dawn, you've already played the 7 cost Rush Sanji. You can swing with it, play this out, bring that back to hand, then bring or play the 7 cost Sanji again and use the effect to get another swing in for 7K. Now you have a 7 cost 7K and a 7 cost 9K on the field. Pretty strong.
That
I
is,
love
that is
purple. Purple's so sick, dude.
such a difference when we talk about purple cards versus green. He hasn't said yuck once.
Yuck, green. Purple, yum.
Did you notice how he sped through the red? But now he's like purple. He's like, let's
let's talk about it now.
I love purple. Purple's so sick.
And then one other cool thing about this card is that people are using it as like anti-Blackbeard tech because of the fact that if the on play is negated, you can just bring this out for 2 costs. So against Blackbeard, having a 2 cost 9K is really good.
Wait, I just realized, like, for Blackbeard's perspective, you usually want to use your leader ability when purple decks get to 7 Dawn because of Luffy Taro.
Yeah.
And now if you do it, they play this instead. You're like, no!
This card is funny too. Like Artress, you mentioned earlier, like if this card didn't read 7K base power, purple Luffy just plays a Sangoro on 5, and then you go to 8 next turn, right? And you can attach 1 onto Sangoro, swing for 7, draw a card, then play Luffy Taro. And this comes out as a 2 cost body.
All right, calm down, Sam.
Yeah.
Calm down. Hey,
I'm
hey,
getting
hey.
excited. Yeah. Next up, we've got Monkey, Daniel, Luffy. A 6/7 brick that reads, on play and when attacking, Dawn -2. If your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn cards on their field, your Straw Hat Crew type leader base power becomes 7,000 until the end of your opponent's next end phase.
Yeah, we're talking about physical enhancements. We need drug tests immediately. And this card might be one of the best of them, right?
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's a on play and when attacking. So like normally these cards are just on plays. You play them once, you get the effect for that turn. This one stays around and keeps giving you that buff. That is incredible.
I think with like black, yellow Luffy, because you were able to be like a 9K leader for most of the time, there was a lot of like you're dwindling your hand size over the course of a game by doing that. This doesn't have any downside to it at all, really.
No,
Yeah.
none.
Like,
Of course, the Dawn -2 in any other deck is kind of a downside, but
Other
in
than,
Black Purple
like,
Luffy,
yeah, exactly.
it works perfectly.
in
Yeah.
Black Purple Luffy, it says restand Dawn.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
What's also cool about this is that it is multicolored. You can apply it in other decks as well. So
Yeah.
like you could put it in Green Purple Luffy, you could put it in Nico Robin. Obviously, like
You can
results
put it
may
in
vary.
purple Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Purple, dark purple Luffy. Yeah, multicolored.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think this though shines the best in Black Purple.
Yeah.
Obviously
Yeah,
not just because of the
100%.
-2, but also because in Black Purple you have the leader effect that says if you have an attached Dawn, you get +1 cost. And I
Yeah.
think that is such an important defensive thing for this card because it is infinitely easier to mess with 6 costs than 7 costs. Like for whatever reason, like in sort of our current meta of One Piece, like 7 costs is kind of like the sweet spot where you start dodging a lot of heat randomly. Like you don't get tucked by a gravity blade, you can't get targeted by Nine Mom, yeah. And so it just like puts you out of range of these things that like most decks would normally run to sort of like get rid of these mid-range type bodies. Not this one.
Nope.
Not this one. This one's staying around. Sorry, Mom.
I swear to God, if any of you blue purple Luffy players start putting in the 9-cost Mihawk, I will find you and hunt you down. Do not do that.
That one's targeted.
Yes.
Yeah,
that is
that is a hate crime. Yeah. Yeah, that one is tough.
Yeah. I think that card is just amazing. If Black Purple becomes like a meta threat, it'll be off the back of that.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. Next up, we've got Tony Chopper, a 3/4 blocker with 1K attached that reads on play Dawn -2. Rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or characters with a cost of 1 or less, and he's half frozen with a potion, and he's a samurai.
How did that happen?
How did that happen?
He's a samurai.
You'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
I think this card is really amazing for the deck. I am excited to run this card because of the fact that one of your problems when you're going against the meta just in general is all the amount of Gum Giant users out there.
Yeah, for sure. Resting that Dawn is so sick.
Yeah, it shuts it down. So that is really awesome. But the problem with that is the answer to that is in purple. So it always seems to be that with
Yeah.
the decks. Like it's like the answer to the thing that is the threat is in the color.
Is
So
in-
it's
yeah.
like yellow has like banish built in.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like why?
Yeah.
So
That's true. I never thought about that.
things that are unKOable are in black, like 4-cost Kuzan
Yeah,
or 4-cost
that is
Porcelino.
true. I
right?
never thought about that.
Yeah,
So
I've never thought about
so
that.
come
silly.
on. So
Yeah,
Keep
this
it
card's-
within the bloodline. That one is crazy.
Yeah, I think this card is really cool. Like you said, like you prevent your opponents from being able to hold Gum Giants against you. But I think specifically because it's a blocker, it makes those kind of endgame situations really tricky, right? Because now you play it, and you prevent them from using Gum Giant. Now they had to survive that turn, but also it makes the crackback from that point harder as well. So, yeah, I think this card will see play. I think maybe not a 4 of, but
No, I think it's like a 1 or 2
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Yeah. But like just being able to rest the Dawn like Hody Jones, who's on drugs. Speaking of drug testing, this Tony like Hody we know does drugs, but we don't have concrete evidence. We don't have. He's holding the drug.
He's got it in his
He's got
hand.
the whole drug, and he's half ice.
Let him. He's just a baby. Let him have it.
You know what? Let the kids do drugs. Am I right? Yeah.
Whole new meaning to crack, baby.
Next up, we've got Nico Robin, a 3/4 2K that reads on play Dawn -2. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Artress?
I think more specifically, this is just a nice little backup plan if you don't find a 3-cost Zoro
Yeah.
in that Black Purple Luffy deck. That's one of the biggest problems is that if you don't have it in your opening hand and you mulligan for it and you don't find the 3-cost Zoro,
Yep.
your backup plan is finding Black Maria. as like that. This, I think, replaces Black Maria.
For sure.
Some people have argued that it replaces Bon Clay. I think I would still run Bon Clay in the deck.
Yeah.
But this is a searchable Black Maria or a searchable like a backup plan for the 3-cost Zoro.
Yeah, and it's a 2K, right? So it directly replaces Black Maria. It's just a little bit worse than the Zoro because it's a 3/4 body instead of a 3/5. But for 2K counter attached to it, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah. I think, again, kind of like what I said about Buggy and 2Ks, like this is one of those 2Ks that just raises the floor.
Yeah.
And so this card's great.
I don't think it deserves an SR spot though. It seems a little bit weird or underwhelming for an SR, but I digress.
Yeah, that's true. The SR spots.
I mean, she looks so good in the pictures.
Well, that's not the
yeah.
argument. There. It's Robin. I mean, yeah.
If you compare the two SRs at Nico Robin and the 6-cost Luffy, you're like,
yeah.
Moving on to black.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want to move on from purple?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
soak it in.
Yeah, I needed that last. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
That was good. Let me see.
Oh, purple.
Oh, purple's so sick.
Oh,
Purple's so
now we're on
sick.
black.
Oh, we're on black. Yuck! We got Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach. And with the introduction of this starter deck, I think we're going to see quite a bit of a power up from the typical 50 that we are currently playing in the Blackbeard decks.
You say we, but I am not going to be touching that deck anytime soon.
That's true. That's fair.
I was forced onto this deck by my 3v3 team. So,
okay.
Yeah.
He went EXO in Swiss. I can't really. he went undefeated in Swiss. This guy's the GOAT. Yeah. The first card I kind of want to bring up is the Marshall D. Teach, the 7-cost 8K. I think this is really the star of the show here. And he reads, activate main, you may rest this character, KO up to 1 character with a cost of 3 or less. And on KO, add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. This card is absurdly good. It's so strong. As an activate main, KO a 3 cost. It doesn't have to be your opponent's 3 cost. It could be your 3 cost. On KO, add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. It could be himself, any black card. He's not even leader locked.
No. And you can grab any cost black card.
Yeah,
Yes.
anything.
This card, I mean, the obvious comparison is to Jack.
Yeah.
And I think for this deck, this is better than Jack.
I think it's way better than Jack, for sure.
Do you replace Jack with this? Because like it's kind of like up in the air right now.
Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, this replaces Jack.
Okay.
And the reason why I think it does is because it's searchable, right? And I think that's a big deal. Because you run stage, you're only allowed usually like 8 slots in the deck that are non-Blackbeard. And I think 4 of them are obviously going to go to Finger Pistol, which just seems like the shoe-in. But I think with this card, now you can also add Tempest Kick without being worried about whiffing. And I think Tempest Kick and this card is so good together. And I think in the old lists of Blackbeard, when people were testing out Jacks too, they also tried to play Tempest Kick as well. But now your deck slots are much more open because this is searchable, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then on top of that, I think it also frees up more slots in the deck too, in that this grabs any card in your trash, right? So when you're playing all the My Eras and all that stuff and you're dumping all this stuff into trash, like I think with this card, you might not even need to run 4 of the 10-cost Blackbeards anymore either.
That's true.
Because like generally speaking, if you've played Blackbeard, you only play like 2, maybe 3 at most.
Yeah.
And so like this card being like, oh, I don't need to keep it in hand anymore. I can put more counter into my hand early game instead of having to hoard these 10 costs that I may or may not play. Like this card gives you a lot of flexibility there. This card might be a complete game changer.
I think so too.
In fact, you probably, as a Blackbeard player, just don't even run the 10 drops anymore, please.
Man, that please had an exclamation point on that one.
There's asterisks. It was italicized. Yeah.
The one thing I will say about this card, sorry to continue on this Blackbeard like theory train. So the build that I was on for a Blackbeard at the end of EB was one that didn't play Van Augur, didn't play Doc Q, and it only played Liberation as its like way of dealing with things on board, and I just filled it up with blockers. And so like I think previously in the Japanese meta, they played Caribou kind of as their like new chump blocker in that spot.
Yeah.
But I think with this card, we're back on for sure the Van Augur build, Doc Q build. I think
so.
You're trying to build out this kind of like wide board with Blackbeard that's just constantly like dealing with the threats and drawing cards if they do deal with it.
Because you can't not deal with them.
Yeah. They just provide too much value turn after turn. So I don't know. I think this opens up a kind of like different lines of play that we may have not seen before.
I like that it KOs any character. So the Doc Q that has been sitting there from the start of the game, you can draw a card off of it.
Yep.
So thematic. He just sits there, punches his own guy, eats him, and is like, yeah, draw a card.
Yeah, draw a card. Yeah, and then he puts your liberation online.
Yeah.
Say, oh, yeah. This guy is crazy.
I know.
Yeah. I think this card is incredible. And then next up, we've got Kuzan, a 6/6/1K blocker that reads, on KO, play up to one Blackbeard Pirates type character with a cost 5 or less from your trash rested.
I think this is fine, right? You probably, I don't know. So personally, I don't play a lot of Blackbeard, but I do think that you could include this at maybe a 2 of. I don't think it's something you're going to want to include 4 of. But
I don't think so either.
I've been yelled at in my own comments for like, oh, I'm putting 4 of in this in my deck. And I'm like, all right, go for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think this card's bad. And the
Really?
reason why I think it's bad is because the card comes in rested. Is exactly what you don't want for Blackbeard. Like Blackbeard in general, the reason why that deck is so powerful is that it's so hard to interact with, right? Like the reason why Burgess is as good as it is because you can't remove it. It's so annoying. The 5-cost Kuzan, you can't deal with it. But the fact that this on KO brings out one of your valuable cards in rested is like a huge detriment, I think.
But it brings back a Burgess of 4/12.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
that is true. That is true. But the fact that you would have to do that early on in you'd have to use the blocker late so that they don't have as many swings into that Burgess is actually a big deal in my opinion.
It's true, yeah.
I mean, I've just got done playing a lot of Usopp, and it's similar to the Frankie blocker where you're bringing out a 3-cost Dressrosa rested.
Yeah.
I would just wait until the last swing for that effect to take place so that I could bring in like a Barto blocker rested so that they can't swing into it.
Yeah.
You could probably do something similar. I do agree with you that this card is probably not the best for Blackbeard, but it's an option at least.
It's just so expensive too.
It is quite
like
expensive,
6 cost means like generally speaking, as Blackbeard, you're on such a timer, so each turn you really have to make impactful plays. And so if you're using 6 Dawn, like at the earliest, obviously you can use it as a 6 Dawn turn play, but that means you're not establishing more Burgesses, you're not establishing other like chump blockers. Like oftentimes I'm going to rather be trying to play out, the Vasco shots and stuff like that. And then on 8 Dawn, I don't want to be playing this again either. I want to be setting up again for the 10-cost chain and stuff like that. So like I'm in my head, I'm like, I just don't see where I would ever be able to have the turns to play this. And I might be completely wrong. I'm open to that, but this card just feels like it's trying to do too much that Blackbeard currently doesn't really care about.
Yeah. Next up, we've got San Juan Wolf. A 4/6 1K counter. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains blocker and +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash. On play, trash 1 card from your hand.
I misread this card like a billion times when this came out. I was like,
you didn't realize they had a period behind Juan.
That was the problem.
Yeah. I'm grammatically correct. I'm a bit more evolved.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm a sophisticated player.
Still don't understand why some of these names have a period at the end. Anyways.
Translation? Could be translation thing?
I don't think so, but okay, thank you for that inclusion. I thought this was like Burgess where it got bigger, but it's
cost. It just gets a bigger cost.
Yeah, so I went from wow, this card's insane to it's okay.
Can you imagine if you had 8 Burgesses in your deck?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, this deck is gonna be absolutely tier 1,
the biggest blocker of all time. Yeah,
but it's not that.
Yeah,
it's only cost. I guess it's hard to interact with, but it's not that exciting in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think so either. There's not a lot that really you would be worried about with this card on the field, like getting it removed anyway. Like this card isn't that impactful for you to be like, oh cool, your Gravity Blade is ineffective against it. I don't really see this being a good card for this deck.
And even in the mirror too, just as like a small thing, like it still gets black holed, and so
it does. Katarina Devon, 1/1 2K counter this time. That reads, activate main, you may trash this character. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. And it's got an on KO. that reads draw 1 card. This card is kind of interesting. I always welcome more powerful 2Ks to the addition of your deck, right? Like, I think Blackbeards were playing that 2K Shiryu for a long time. That really...
They're still playing that card.
Really?
Yeah.
Over this?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think so anymore.
Right.
But
right.
yeah.
It's like we were playing that card for a very, very long time,
Yeah.
and it almost never saw any play. This is a card that I think could see play.
Yeah.
As a 2K counter.
I think it's a worse stronger.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You're not getting the card draw off of the ability, and when is your opponent going to really be KOing it? I mean, if it sits on the field, maybe, but yeah, I mean, it could replace the Shiryu.
Yeah, I think it replaces Shiryu or gives you the flexibility to run more like a heavier 2K build as well. The one thing is like at first I was like, oh, -1 cost is not that impactful, but I actually think it puts you at breakpoints that are quite helpful. So, for example, Van Augur and Doc Q together kills a 4 cost. With this, kills a 5. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so it sucks that you'd have to burn a 2K in order to hit these breakpoints, but I don't care that much because it's a 2K that is much more playable and flexible than the other guy, Shiryu. So
yeah, totally.
I think this card's all right. And then with the new Teach too, you could play it for 1 Dawn, eat it with the Teach just to draw a card.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems like there's something there maybe.
Yeah, not bad.
There's room for it definitely in the deck.
Yeah.
And then the last card in the Blackbeard structure deck, we have a 1/1/1K Alvaro Perez. I went to school with a guy in college named Alvaro Perez, I think.
That's him.
Now he's a One Piece card, I guess. So
he made
very
it.
successful. And he reads, activate main once per turn. You may rest one of your full lead cards. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains plus 4,000 power during this turn. On KO, draw a card.
I think there's like a weird world where maybe you play like an aggro build
Yes.
of Blackbeard, and this card would go straight into that deck.
Yeah,
It'd be
it's
really
true.
crazy, but if it would work, it would be off of this and the 5/6 rush.
The Burgess.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Burgess.
Yeah.
And I think that build would be very
It's
funny.
very funny, yeah. Because this character just swings, and then if you're like, I mean, I have to remove it, it's going to swing at me again. Okay, draw.
Yeah.
You could also put King Kong Gun in that.
Oh,
because
so sick.
Burgess is a Dressrosa character, the rush one.
Yeah.
So then you have the rush double attack, and then you just go super aggro.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
aggro Blackbeard is so sick. Artist just put me on. He just put me on.
Wait, then now I'm back on San Juan too, because he's just a 4/6 blocker beater. He's a vanilla that
He's a 34/6.
oh wait. My brain is exploding.
Yeah.
King Kong Gun on Burgess is so sick.
Yeah.
And the trigger in life is so cool too. Draw 3 trash 2.
Yeah. That's so good for Blackbeard, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blackbeard is beast.
Wait, that's so sick.
I'm building this. I'm building aggro Blackbeard.
You're bringing this to Vegas.
Yeah, bring it in space. I'll see you at X3, buddy.
See you at the crab stables. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting addition to the Blackbeard.
I think
starters.
it would be cool. Obviously, it would need more cards than just the ones that were printed in the starter deck.
Yeah.
But like, I do think it would be cool if Blackbeard went away from like the current strategy that we know,
Yeah.
and like if aggro Blackbeard was like an actual thing, like I think that'd be good for the game. Actually, better,
so, too.
more so than this like super heavy control style of Blackbeard.
Yeah.
I think people would hate Blackbeard less.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so
for
too.
sure.
I think so too.
For
And-
sure.
Unless they keep printing those really violent Blackbeard cards, and they're like, "Okay, you guys need to chill. You guys need to chill."
Relax. Yeah.
Another BB leader that's just violent. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, we have the yellow starter deck in Yamato.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go ahead and get us started with Kozuki Momonosuke, the 6/7 brick that reads: your turn. If you have 2 or less life cards, your leader gains 1,000 power. Activate main once per turn. You may return 2 total of your currently given Dawn cards to your cost area, rested. This character gains rush and plus 1,000 power during this turn.
This is a really good yellow card in general.
Just super good. I
Yeah.
think just generically very strong and has a lot of value built into the card text.
I agree. It's really good into Yamato as a whole, but outside of that, like you could run it in like a Nell. You could run it
For
in.
sure.
I mentioned this before in a previous when I was doing my own video, but the yellow Yamato mono leader, like that's actually something you could do with.
Yeah.
I think that we'll get to a searcher in a second, but I think the searcher searches out the 9-cost Yamato.
Yep.
So like that deck could actually be a little bit more viable, but obviously this is for the green-yellow double attack Yamato.
Right.
And this card I think is really good for that.
Also, take that, Blackbeard. Activate main once per turn. Hold that. Hold that.
Yeah. And your turn is the plus 1,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you get a buff naturally off of this thing. Pretty good.
Yeah. This card just seems very good. There's nothing much to say.
Turn, yeah.
And
Your leader
obviously
gets
with
6.
green yellow Yamato, a lot of synergy with the green yellow Yamato ability. You get to recycle the 2 Dawn
it's just
over and
so
over again.
efficient.
Yeah. So very, very powerful effect. And if green yellow Yamato sees play, it'll also
For sure.
play this card.
There was a rumor that the SR for this deck was like a Hody Jones
I
type card.
I remember this a while ago,
Yeah.
and people were so certain that that card was real. And I don't really follow leaks very much. I remember the exact moment that this happened. This had to have been after a regional because we were at the all-you-can-eat sushi place we always go to after Pasadena Regional, the core one. And we
It's
were just
Icon, by the way.
Icon Sushi for the
Great place.
knowers know. The knowers know. Oh, yeah, because you're from Pasadena.
Yeah.
We were just talking about, there were whispers in the streets. Have you heard about this new Hody Jones they're printing? It's just better than Hody Jones. And it's Yamato.
God. Oh no!
It's like Yamato.
I can't believe I fell for it. Because the what it was explained to me as, it was Hody Jones. You get to rest like 2 characters or like a 2 Dawn or whatever combination of that. You don't take a life.
Yep.
It has a rush.
Yep.
It's like a 6/8 beater or something. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Why didn't I believe that?
Yeah, it's just too good to be true.
Yeah.
But I have Gum Giant, so I've seen some crazy shit.
True.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like so rare in the age of the internet to fall for like things like
Yeah,
this. You know?
right?
It reminds me back in like the early elementary school days when people were like, "Yeah, you could catch Mew by going into the place where the boat goes, and then you surf in there, and then there's a truck, and then underneath the truck there's a Mew."
Dude, I fell for that so bad. I don't know if you guys also had this rumor growing up, but like, hey, like Super Smash Brothers Melee, you can get Sonic.
Yeah.
You can get Sonic.
remember.
You can get Sonic by doing this level, and then you have to hit the targets but you can't hit all the targets. You have to hit one less target.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm trying. Yeah. I suck. I can't even get Sonic. Turns out it's just not real.
That was back in the days when I would print out the cheat codes in the
Yeah,
library and bring them
yeah,
home.
yeah.
Oh, good times.
Good
Man,
times.
we got punked.
Yeah, we got
got punked, man.
But instead we got the 6/7. Is it
Yeah.
6/7, 6/8?
6/7, yeah. 6/7 that turns into a 6/8 when he attacks. Yeah.
I guess it'll do.
Yeah.
You'll do
it's
pick.
a good card.
Still a great card.
Still a
Yeah.
great card, yeah. And speaking of great cards, we got Ashura Doji, 3/3 1K counter that reads on play. If your leader has the Land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or more life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost 5 or less. This card is incredible.
That's actually really overstated for what it is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
This card is
3-cost
so
kill spell.
good.
And then it's a 3K power, right? So
Yep.
then it just synergizes with the leader ability.
That's right.
Just you put the 2 underneath it, you swing for 5.
Yep.
Really good. Yeah.
This card is so good.
Is
Yeah.
that the SR or is that a common?
This is a common.
Common.
This is a common.
No, this card is so crazy to me because it's like directly punishes you for trying to counter out early, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you countered out early. Well, now I get to kill your development.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah, so sick.
also, I think specifically it being a 3K body is also very good because that means that once you do hit the moment your leader ability gets activated, now it is a relevant swing, right?
Yep.
Off the leader
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah.
So like it's like perfectly statted all around
It's
for
awesome.
the deck.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
I think the developers did a really good job with this because of the fact that this is more specifically ran for Yamato.
Yeah.
If it was a 3/5, I think it would be like insane. A 3/5 that kills a 5-drop
my God.
would be insane. But like this is really just that, but it's for Yamato.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really get that effect. You're not going to be swinging with this in any other yellow deck, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is super cool. Super cool card. Next up, we've got Kinemon, a 4/5 2K counter. No effect, but it has a trigger. If your leader has the Land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or less life cards, play this card. This just replaces Satori for free.
Yeah. This is just free Satori. This
Yeah.
is amazing.
This is an amazing card. It's awesome.
This is like the worst card of the new cards to come out of the Yamato deck.
Yeah.
And this is still really
still
good.
Yeah. It's still good. Yeah.
Nothing much
really.
more to say
What
about
to
that.
say
Yeah.
about that? Like,
Nothing much
it's
more
a
to
free
say.
Satori. You don't
Yeah.
have to ditch a card. It's so good.
Yeah, too
moving
good.
on.
Yep.
We got Iso, 2/1 1K counter that reads Dawn 2. This character gains blocker. On play, your Land of Wano type leader gains banish during this turn. This card is good.
Yeah, now you have another 4 Onami type cards, and giving your leader that has double attack banish is one of the scariest things. There's like, I would say there's like top 3 scariest things in One Piece. One, your opponent plays Karasu on you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god. Second, you see a Lucci and they start doing 3rd grade math in front of you. You're like,
They start counting with their fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And a third, green, yellow Yamato, they play Onami, and you're like, oh, God.
They have 8 of them now.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And 4 of them are searchable.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is scary. And then just the blocker on top of it is just...
The beauty of the blocker is that it just synergizes, like you guys mentioned earlier with the Yamato leader, right? It's Dawn 2. So you just attach the 2 Dawn from your leader ability and you give this Izo a blocker. It's so good.
Yeah, super good. And you would think, oh, you're an aggro deck. Why do you care about blocker? It's, well, a lot of times most decks, the only way to defeat Yamato is just to try to race it. Because, like, you will die against it eventually because they'll spend all their Dawn just attacking into you. So oftentimes the way out is to just swing back at them.
Yeah,
and
because they're a 4-life leader.
Yeah.
And then Kiku comes out of life.
And then Kinemon comes out of life.
Kinemon comes out of life. And now they have an Izo blocker.
Oh, my God.
It's really good. I feel, okay, so out of the ones we talked about, I feel like this is the best card for Yamato. That's just my opinion, but I feel like obviously Momonosuke is really good.
Yeah.
But this card does everything that like Yamato wants to do.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. For 2 Dawn, and it's not a break. That's
not
so
a
sick.
brick. Oh
so
my
good.
God,
Yeah.
it's good.
Next up, we have another SR, right? The last SR of this set.
Oh, wait. We haven't gone over the other.
Yeah,
SR
we
yet?
haven't gone.
We haven't gone over the other SR. We got Yamato themselves, a 1/0 1K counter that reads Dawn 2, another Dawn 2. Your turn, this character gains plus 3,000 power. Very flavor. I love that. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal 1 Land of Wano card with a cost of 2 or more, add it to your hand, and then you can bottom the rest in any order. So I just really love that thematically all the cards are like Dawn 2, 3K stat line. Dawn 2, this character gains 3K. Dawn 2, this character gets a blocker. I think it's
Dawn
so
2,
sick.
this card does your taxes.
Yeah.
Dawn 2 gets you pretty far these days.
Dawn,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Land of
Inflate-
Wano's economy is very good.
Yeah. The Land of Wano currency. What is that? What is that called?
The yen. I don't know. I just assume.
That's tough for me.
No, this card's just
This card's good. So this card
say?
is like it's like Machino, where you have to respect it. Once it swings, you're gonna have to waste a swing on it.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're gonna have this 5K attack coming at you every turn.
Yep.
For a 1 Dawn investment, and you're also it's replacing itself. So
Yeah.
you're playing it down, you're getting a card in place of it, and then it will swing later on.
Yep.
It grabs, as I mentioned, it'll grab 9-cost Yamato.
Yep.
So if you're wanting to run that, most don't, but you can. That has not had a way to be found, I don't think, quite yet, other than maybe like Momonosuke in green.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in yellow, mono yellow, there's not been a way to find it.
You can play like the music event.
Nobody does that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
No, this card's. I mean, okay, we'll talk. Maybe this is a good time to segue into this, but like just talking about the starter decks as a whole and like what support they brought to their respective leaders. Like, oh my God, Yamato got so much good stuff.
Yeah. I think so. Are we ranking them now, or should we? What do you suppose we do?
Okay, yeah. Let's do it. Let's.
I'm gonna go first here, and I'm going to name the starter deck that I think brought the best support to its, I guess, design.
Let's start with the worst.
The worst?
Yeah, let's start with the worst because we can all agree, I think, on this one.
Yeah,
right?
I can agree as well.
3, 2, 1.
Shanks. This card that deck is not very good.
This deck is ass.
Yeah.
Like compared to all the other decks, like I think you have the 2 SRs, which the SRs are supposed to be, like the big hallmark cards of the thing. Like they're like fringe playable at best.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the second SR. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It was a 2K.
Hey.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't ring
No.
a bell.
So
Don't know her.
yeah, I think Shanks got the short end of the stick for sure.
Yeah.
I don't understand the cards at all. Like why they printed those specific cards. They don't feel synergistic. I don't understand.
Well, I think Detective Artrus is on the case. It's not for Shanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for Uta.
Oh, it's
for
vanilla
Uta.
Uta. I'm
But
kidding.
yeah, mono red Uta. Make
heard
One
it here.
Piece great again.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. Shanks
Moving
for
on.
sure F tier, I
Yep.
think, in terms of support. So who wants to go next?
You want to go from worst to best?
Yeah, I think we saved the best for last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
In your opinion.
So the second worst, I think, is
Bonney.
Bonney.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I agree with that.
I think it's Bonney.
Yeah, I think Bonney definitely, again, kind of like Shanks. It's just weird that a lot of the cards don't feel like it was made for Bonney at all.
I don't think Bonney really needed much anyway.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah.
Like what more do you need to give to a 12-year-old?
She got a lot of toys, that's for sure.
She got too much already.
Yeah,
She's spoiled.
There were some jokes that could have been made there, but
Yeah, okay. maybe better left off. Yeah.
You guys didn't fall for my bait at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Bonney as a deck, like that leader ability is just so generically good, right? And so Bonney as a deck list has always just kind of played the most powerful cards that it can, right?
Yeah.
It's not normally, it doesn't have like a center theme necessarily around it. It just plays the good cards in green. And so like it's going to be hard to unseat any of those cards, right? Like
sure.
You're playing cards. Green also. We need to make this video at some point. Top green cards, but like Bonney just plays all of them
Yeah,
essentially.
Bonney just
I feel like that'd be a hard video to make.
Yeah.
Green's just kind of like, in my opinion, green has always been like the unfavorite child of Bandai, where they just haven't really had too much to like write home about.
It's true, but all you have to do is read down a Bonney deck list, and you've got 10 right there.
Yeah, that is true.
Like that, those are
Cody Jones, Basil Hawkins,
Yeah.
9/11 Shanks.
Never
Tide
forget.
cost Dofi,
Yeah.
8 cost Kid. Like
Yeah.
they just play all the
Yeah.
best green cards, and so
Yeah.
it's going to be hard for it. For me, I actually put this a little bit higher. It was
Okay.
my third least.
Okay,
So the next
sure,
one?
The next
Okay.
one. So what was
Uh,
your second?
My second to last one was actually Teach. And the
Interesting.
reason being is like it got one very good card,
Yeah.
but I felt like the other cards were kind of so.
Well,
And
that's
they-
because you don't believe in aggro Blackbeard. You don't believe in the real sauce like us McDonald's chefs.
Yeah, I'm
We're
sorry.
doing OT in the kitchen, brother.
Avalo Pizarro about to go crazy.
I will say that for me, Blackbeard, that deck was third on my list as far as like the best decks overall because of is it 654? I can't do math. I don't play black, so yeah, it'd be the fourth one then because of the fact that for me, I felt like Blackbeard didn't really get too much. As far as upgrades for the overall deck, I feel like the deck is already fine as is.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to be changing too much unless, of course, like we mentioned, the aggro version. But I think that the 7-drop Blackbeard's good. I will agree with you that I think Bonney is probably fifth on my list.
Yeah.
Originally, I didn't have this as my third worst, but I think you guys have kind of talked me down on this this deck. I think the Blackbeard deck is probably going to be my third worst.
Yeah.
I originally had it a little bit higher because I thought the 7-drop Teach was that powerful. None of the other cards really mattered at that point. I was like, yeah, this whole starter deck, you're paying MSRP prices for this one card, and that's really all you needed.
Yeah.
I think you did talk me down on this.
That being said, it's not a bad deck. It's
Yeah,
like
not
the
at
deck
all.
is pretty strong. I think if you're going to take it, because I think for some stores they're doing like deck battles.
That's
I think that Blackbeard is a really good deck to pick.
Oh,
because
out of the box?
Yes.
That deck is going to be good.
Do they have
synergistically?
Tendyards in that?
No, but
No.
it has the Burgess. It has everything else you need besides that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that alone is very good.
Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement that the bottom three decks, though, Shanks, Bonney, Blackbeard. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
those are the ones that serve their decks the worst. And I only gave Bonney a little bit of a nod towards the Teach just because I do think that Kid and Killer is very good, and I think the 10-cost Minx card does help other decks besides Bonney enough. So
Yeah.
that was my argument there. Okay, so now we're talking to
The
top
third
three.
best.
Yeah,
Yes,
the three
the third
best.
best.
Bronze medal. What do you got?
Bronze medal. Go ahead, Artress.
I'm actually putting Black Purple Luffy as number 3. I think that outside of its own archetype.
Yeah.
Those cards don't really apply to too many other decks. But the cards that are in that are going to really raise the ceiling for
totally.
for Black Purple Luffy. So I think because of that, it's 3 for me.
Yeah. I think there's a big gap between this and the bottom 3.
Sure.
Like I
Yeah,
think it's
definitely.
like the bottom 3, boom, purple Black
Yeah.
Luffy. Like you said, I don't think these cards are very versatile, but they're just tailor made, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's good. I think
everybody
it's good.
loves a tailor-made suit.
Yeah,
Everybody-
exactly.
You know your inseam, you know your waist, you know your length. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I also had Purple Black Luffy as my bronze
Oh.
medalist.
And I think speaking of tailor-made decks, I think the second one, second silver medalist for me is Yamato. I think in the same vein, it's like, it gets a little bit of a nod in that, like, I think the new Momonosuke is a little more versatile, can be played in other
Yep.
decks and whatnot, and just Land of Wano as an archetype in yellow
Yeah.
is getting a buff from it. But obviously, the cards that get put into green, yellow Yamato, I think that leader has always sort of suffered from it not having like a truly built archetype. Like I feel like Land of Wano was always missing pieces to make that feel like a real working archetype. With these cards, it's a working archetype.
It is.
I'm deathly scared of this deck.
Yeah, I definitely also put this as my silver medal. I think solely because I look at the 5 new cards it got, and they're all bangers.
They are.
They're
good.
all good cards.
All good.
Yeah,
I would expect to see. Yeah, I put this at number 2 as
Yeah.
well. I would expect to see this more prevalent in some tournaments coming up. I don't think it's going to be winning anything.
Sure.
But I do think that this deck now has more legs.
Yeah. Do you know what? I hot take. I think this could be one of those like sneaky decks that could take down a regional. I think the power
it's-
level is really high. I think the leader ability, like, I just don't know if people are prepared, you know. And I know we're in this sort of like we have a lot of new leaders that are 5 life, but the ones that are sort of the ones that people are talking about right now
Yeah.
are not 5 life leaders.
Bello Betty.
Yeah, Bella Betty though 4, right?
Yeah.
And you get smoked by green yellow Yamato if
Yeah.
you're not careful. And
Yeah.
then I think like Luffy, for example, you're taking your own life.
3
You've
life
got-
leader.
Yeah, 3 life leader,
Yeah.
blue purple Luffy. So I don't know. And if people are bringing in Teach and stuff, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I think this deck is very scary.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And of course, the gold medal.
Put the glasses down. Let's go.
Morpheus Josh
He's
is back.
Future Ducky is here. The Buggy Wars are beginning, boys. We're fighting for the buggies, man.
Buggy.
I'm for it. I really am. I think this is really good. I think this deck is just amazing.
Yeah. This one for sure, number 1.
I cannot wait to play this deck.
Well, can you explain why? Why are you so excited about Buggy? Is it the playstyle or is it?
treacherous war?
He's from the future. He's seen some
I'm
shit.
from the future.
Yeah.
I'm from the future. I've seen things you can't even explain.
No, I think this deck is actually just so good for what Buggy needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I clearly it's number 1 for all of us.
Number 1.
Yeah, number 1
I
for
think
all
we
of
all
us.
had very similar
Very
lists.
similar lists, yeah.
I think my list might be 1 for 1 with Artress's list.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the only difference was Bonney versus
Teach for you.
Teach, yeah, at the
so
bottom,
very, very close. Yeah.
I do want to say that with all of these like starter decks that have come out now, they do feel I would say I don't want to like downsize it anymore, but like it's weak in comparison to the starter decks we got about a year ago as far as overall power level to what is being brought to the meta. And this might be because it's also being synchronized with the OP11 release. It could just be too much power all at once. But I feel like the Dofi deck that came out really just like defined the meta at the time.
Yeah.
The Purple Luffy starter deck that came out really defined Purple Luffy. The Whitebeard starter deck had the Ace come out, and also the 7-cost Newgate have been played pretty religiously. Shanks, the 9-cost Shanks for Bonney has been really strong when that came out. So in comparison, I think that they're weaker overall than the starter decks that came out a year ago, but they're still pretty solid overall.
I think they're pretty solid. Yeah, I think when you look at it, direct comparison to the old ones, yeah, these ones not quite as good. And I don't know. You think the designers were like, "Oh God, we don't want another like Doflamingo on our hands."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think they kind of did with Buggy. I don't know. There may be something there.
dude, Buggy
was a
looks
war.
scary.
And it was treacherous and violent.
I don't understand how can there be a war. The 8 cost prevents anything from leaving the board. They're immortal.
Oh, it's not a war for Buggy.
It's not a
Oh,
war.
It's
I
not a
see.
war for Buggy.
Yeah, it wasn't
It's a war for you.
Buggy.
My bad. My fault. My
Yeah.
fault. My fault.
Humanity is fallen. We're
Clown
we are
supremacy.
clowns only. I'm from the future, I know. I'm warning you, Homo sapiens, you Homo erecti.
Not ready for the.
Not ready for the.
Little tricycle.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm telling you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that is going to be it for the discussion on the starter decks for this time around. Thank you, Archerus, for coming on to the podcast. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Archerus TCG on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one. See you in the Primo. We got more with Archerus coming in the Primo.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see that, go join our Patreon. Go join it.
See you in the Buggy Wars.